Greetings and welcome to another Lessons with Odin. On this episode, I have a very quick, speedy tutorial on this beaded bead. I don't know about all y'all, but summer is the bane of my existence, and I don't feel like doing much. But I also have a tendency to want sparkly, shiny things anyway, so this is what I came up with. Beaded beads are a great, quick way of adding a lot of flair to your wardrobe and designs without a lot of effort. And this one is definitely no exception. This one required very little work. This one is a very versatile piece as well because it has different ways that you can display the bead. You can display it throwing out like a pendant where you show the flower so you can thread it up and down. You can also thread it up and down in this orientation so that you show this cool pattern of bands and the sparkly bicones show up in nice fancy ways. You can also attach things like spikes or other large beads on this side because it has a nice little gap in the middle, but this is what I have for you today. And before we get started, be sure to subscribe if you want more of these silly beading tutorials thrown at you once to twice a month, plus other random shenanigans such as food and makeup tips because I do a lot of weird things. And ring the bell, do all the other things that the other YouTubers tell you to do because they gotta be right? And for patrons over at Patreon, the July design is in the way. Preparations are being made. I believe the tie right now for the poll is between popsicles and fireworks, so if you want to get input on that, be sure to check out Patreon down below to get your voice heard in that. And if you would like to help support Odin to create all these fantastical designs, and you want exclusive beading tutorials once per month, feel free to check out my Patreon page down below. So, let's look at some materials for this bad boy. For this project, you will need a large round bead. At the time of recording this, I forgot what I had actually used and what the project required, so I will have a big flashy text here to tell you what size round bead you need. You will need 12 Diamonduos or Gemduos. These are the backlit petroleum, but they're probably named different things depending on where you buy them. But 12 of these, use what you wish, as well as 12 3mm bicones. Feel free to experiment with different shapes and sizes like pearls or fire polish. I'm using bicones, so try that first. I will also be using size 11 and size 15 seed beads, and of course your needle and thread. I'm using a size 12 tulip needle and this magical Hercules fishing line stuff. And you'll need whatever you're going to hang it on, whatever project you're doing to put it on, some wire, some shiny bits, ear wires, what have you, whatever you want. So, let us get started. So the first thing we are going to be doing is stringing on a pattern of size 11 and Gemduo beads until we have 6 sets. So, 6 size 11s and 6 Gemduos. Make sure they're all facing the same direction, and you're threading them through the same hole. You can leave a small tail because we're not going to be using it, except to tie off the knot at the other side. So, like many projects here, you're going to pass back through every single one of these beads until you form a loop. Then you're going to take the tail end and the working thread and tie an overhand knot, and you end up with that. So my knot is in between the Gemduo and a size 11. I'm just going to thread up to the top hole of the Gemduo. I am then going to add a size 15 3mm bicone, size 15 Gemduo, 15 bicone, 15. I'm going to pull that down, and you want to make sure you have the colors and the top side in the same orientation when you thread it down, so that you can see right now my top is facing my top. Now, I'm going to go to the Gemduo bead that I started from, pass through the top hole again, so that the Gemduo sits down on opposite sides of each other. I'm going to go back through the bottom hole of the same Gemduo that I'm coming from, as well as picking up the next size 11. then through the bottom hole of the next Gemduo, and we're going to repeat the same steps to add another tendril. So I'm going to pass through my top hole of the same Gemduo we're coming from, add a size 15 bicone, size 15 Gemduo, 15 bicone, and 15. Pass back through the same hole where I started from on the top Gemduo. Then move from the bottom hole of the Gemduo, the next size 11. Then finally the bottom hole of the next Gemduo over. Repeat that on all 6 points. And that is what you end up with. Now it's going to get fun and awkward. I'm coming through the bottom hole of the bottom Gemduo. Going to move up to the tip over here. So I'm just going to pass through the top hole, up through the 15 bicone 15, through what will be the top hole of the next Gemduo, and finally through the bottom hole of the same Gemduo. Gonna kind of flip it over, and all we're going to do is add on one size 11, pass through the top hole of the next Gemduo, and you'll repeat that all the way around until you've completed this set. And as you progress, you will see the walls start to pop up and form together. Eventually, we'll get enough room to put in our pearl, and we'll have a little hollow sack like that. So what I have done is just opened up the width here. I'm going to pull everything tight. Then we're going to reinforce this top ring once or twice to cinch the bead snugly in together. What you might want to do before you cinch it real tight is to figure out the orientation of the hole of the pearl and figure out where you want it to go. If you want it to go top down so that this is what you see, make sure the hole is sticking out up and down. If you want it to the side so that the star pattern is out in the front, make sure you have your hole orientation up here with the bicones. So cinch that until you got everything secured. And that is what you end up with. This is a really cool component by itself, but you can also do other things to make it a bit more fancy. You could add something here, like another Rivoli possibly, and do a little bezel around that. You could put a spike in here, so that when you thread it on like this, you'll have 2 spikes hanging out like that. You can also move down toward the bicones in the center, and connect these ridges together with a simple use of the right angle weave. So I'll just add a size 15, jump over to the next crystal, add on another size 15, then jump over to the next crystal, so you have a little connection point down there. Add on another size 15, jump back to the crystal that you started from, to add a cute little bridge here. Then move through the size 15 and the Gemduo, back down the next size 15, and bicone to repeat and wrap that all the way around. It adds a nice little bit of sparkle, but the disadvantage is you don't have as much of the pearl showing, so it's all up to you. If you have a really pretty pearl color that you want to show off, then feel free to skip that step or do whatever you want with it. This is all your project. I am just showing you some cool steps that I did with using very few beads, actually. So, that is a Gemduo beaded bead for you to enjoy. So I hope you give this component with a shot. Please feel free to share with me pictures either down in the comments or at our Facebook group at Creations from the Lessons with Odin. I would love to see your color interpretations and what you decide to do with this component because it's fun and it has a lot of potential. So, share with me, come and follow us around, talk to some other beaders, and all in all, have a good time. But I think that will do it for me. Be sure to like up this video and subscribe if you want to see more bullshit from me. Check out the description box down below for all of my social media details if you want to follow me around and see my other beading adventures, as well as my writing projects. And I want to thank you to all of my patrons over at Patreon. July's project is in the works, so I believe the winning theme is popsicles, but fireworks is also a close winner. So if you want in on that before I start working on it, feel free to check out the description down below for my Patreon page and submit your voice. And thank y'all so much for joining me. And of course, if there's anything I need to be trying out right now, feel free to let me know down below. I will see you next time.